Well, hello there. Yes, hello there. Good evening. We're live in living color. Yes, I'm live. I'm alive. Y'all come on in here. Tell the world. Tell the world and tell your friends and your enemies, even if they need to know that I am live. So that way we can talk about what's coming this week. Educator to trader. Gotta let the world know that we're live. All right, go ahead and tell the people that we're live so folks will know that we're on here. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Okay. Go ahead and say hi. Hi, everyone. Hello. Good evening. Hope y'all had a good Sunday so far. Good weekend. Heard your hey Jermaine. Hey Ward. Hope y'all had a good weekend so far. Hope everybody's kind of had some screen time and some non-screen time because you have to have both. Got to have a little bit of balance. My mama used to always say, listen, you got to be balanced. She would always talk to me about having balance because I didn't really have a lot of balance. And sometimes I can be a little in the extremist camp. I get involved in something and then I'm like in. And my mama would say, you got to have some balance. She would always say that to me. And I would be like, yeah, it makes sense. But, even though it made sense, you didn't always want to be balanced at the time. Usually it was at the most inopportune times when our parents would tell us to do stuff. It's like, I don't want you to tell me about being balanced at the times I don't want to be balanced. Now, if I'm just chilling and then you can tell me you should be balanced. But, anyway, good old mommies. That's what mommies do. They tell us stuff that we should do, and we know it's the right thing, even though we may or may not want to listen. We still know it's the right thing, right? And if your mommy's telling you some stuff, you should listen. You should listen to your mommies. All right. I'm a mommy. So many of y'all are mommies, and you want your kids to listen to you. I want my kids to listen to me. I think they listen most of the time. I think my kids listen most of the time. And let me say hello to who's joining us. Welcome, y'all. Come on in. Come on in. I said hi to Jermaine and Ward already. I believe Miss Marsha. Hey there. Tiffany's here. Janae, happy Sunday. Yes, Tasha is here. Hey y'all. Hey y'all. Hey y'all. It is definitely a happy Sunday. I've been chilling for the most part. I finished grading all of those exams I had to grade. Yes, and put in those grades. And of course, after the grades go in, then the students who decided, partway through that they was going to flake on some of the stuff they needed to be doing, decide at the end, now they're ready for what can I do to bring up? You probably should go do what you were supposed to do earlier. So, what can I do to bring my 65 up to a 70? Well, these are called averages. So anytime you're going to average something, you need to be able to overshoot in order to average it. We can do a little math here. And if you need to raise your average up by 5 points, hey Slim and Mr. Will and hey Tiffany, yay! I finished my test grading. But when you're going to raise an average of something, you just can't shoot at it. You've got to overshoot in order to bring your average up, right? That's how that goes. That's how that goes. So I told her she could go and do the work that she hadn't done. And then she wanted to know how long did she have. You have till tonight, to end of tonight, because my grades are going in tomorrow and I'm not going to, slow down my process because you decided earlier in the semester that doing your homework wasn't a good use of your time. So guess what? When I'm gonna use my time wisely. Uh, yeah, there's that. So, um, yeah, let's move on to see what this week has to offer for us. We got some good stuff. We're still in the midst of earnings season. We had a good week last week. We're gonna share all these goodies. Did I incorporate? I'm looking if I incorporated one thing I wanted to incorporate inside those files, that my little slides. Slide to the right, slide to the left, crisscross. crisscross. I did not include that, and I need to do that. So let me just keep talking while I go. Well, I may not need to incorporate it. I probably can just bring it to the screen. Coming to the screen, I'll just bring it to the screen so it don't have to be in the slides, because doing that is going to take a whole bunch more time to bring that to the slides. But I can still incorporate it into the flow of the conversation, because we need to have it in the flow, but I don't happen to see it. So let's see if it's in here. Need to make sure. Yep, there it is. How did your week, even if your week doesn't go all that great, potentially your your month goes fine. Your month goes fantastic, right? You want to make sure that let me bring this or make it bigger. You want to make sure that you are looking at overall or cumulative. We're looking at cumulative profits and such, because sometimes when we're just looking at onesie, we can find ourselves getting maybe a little bit discouraged. And that's never what we're after. We're never after getting discouraged. Okay. So let's go. Hey Tanya. I had the group praying for you the other day. So hope you were feeling our positive vibes and our prayers coming for you on Saturday. And I hope all is well at the house, as well as they can be over at the house. Okay. Let's go see where we at. Let's share a screen and go see where we are. All right. The VIX right now, even though it's the weekend, baby, VIX is at 22.68. VIX is down a little bit, which means the market has been up a little bit. And y'all do know we did have some climbing, some good old climbing that was going on last week. I'm going to show the chart here in a second, and we're going to see what kind of climbing we did last week, right? There was some. If you were trading last week, let's look at the weekly chart on SPX. So we can see what it looked like. Can see what did we look like over there. I'm going to take this line off right here because that was for something else. Okay. This is the weekly chart for SPX. So we're looking only at this last green candle. That's the candle for the week. But if we're looking at the overall flow of things for the last month, even, we've been going up in SPX for the last month. And we actually closed the week at, I think that's 56.86 is where we closed the week. Close up a couple of gaps that were waiting for us along the way. We did that. Absolutely, Tanya. We're here for you for sure. So, we hit this support area down here at 49.63 after the big drop happened about a month ago, about 4 weeks ago. And we've been climbing, as they say, ever since, even though it's ever since. We've been climbing ever since. But this week we had a good little green. It's got a little bit of a wick on it, so it might give a little bit of some more bullish vibes. We got some resistance. We're coming into on the weekly chart. We'd be coming into some resistance at 57.19. And we did peek into the 5,700, just a taste on Friday. We peeked into it and then, looked around in the room a little bit and then came back. We didn't stay up there, but just know the market looks like it wants to go on back up in there and hang around a little bit. So we'll see. This is the daily chart. So we're looking to see what did the overall market do on the daily chart. Let me see if I can close off some of these things so that way we won't have as much to look at if we close some stuff off. There we go. If we turn a few things off, we'll have a few fewer lines to look at. But this is us last week. So this was Monday back here, which basically was a huge doji or just a sword. A sword back here for Monday. Tuesday, Wednesday, kind of in a zone. Thursday gapped up. We left a little gap behind us. And Friday also left a gap. I need to go and put that onto our chart because the gap going from the close of one day to the open of the next would be here. So there was a gap that was left behind from Thursday to Friday as well. And we'll need to keep that in mind as we are moving forward with our trading. Yep, those gaps, because SPX likes to come on back and try to do its filling of its gaps, right? So let's look at SPY, which is going to probably look a lot similar and does. We've got some gaps here, close of one, open of the next, right? And then we've got close of one, open of the next. Watch the price action there to see what's there. Okay, I think we're cool on that. But this is SPY, right? This is what SPY looked like last week. Look, of course, like SPX, they are kind of one in the same. Basically, since they're all based on the same things, they move a little different, but it's just that a little bitty bit. This is triple Q. We're looking at triple Q for the week. Closed at 488.83. You also see that it first 3 days kind of hovered and decided what it was going to do. And then when it got moving, it did its good moving, just like SPX and SPY did as well. Of course, they got a lot of the same holdings, so that does not seem like a shock either. But it closed 488.83, went as low as 462. I think that is a 6 up there, when as low as 462 and closed at 488 and some change, almost at 489, right? That's triple Q. And then IWM also had a move last week. Did I get that right? I think there we go. I think I hit that before the M got formed. Some of that gap is closed. I won't go adjust that right now. That's for a charting call, which we do our charting call on Sunday evenings in our membership community. That's when we do our charting call together. So if you're not a part of the option seller zone, you need to, consider what you're doing with your life, because we being funny, but we over there every Sunday evening, we have our charting call for our members every Sunday evening. Very interactive. And we go through some, like today, we're going to go through a little bit of training. I wasn't planning to do training on that call, but I was learning some stuff this morning that I must share with my community. So we're going to do that this afternoon. Hey, Lisa, we're going to do that this afternoon. All right. This is what we looked at this week as far as the indices went. All right. Let's go on back here. Buffett, Berkshire departure. Did we miss something? Is Warren Buffett leaving Berkshire Hathaway? Did somebody need to tell me something in the chat? What's up with that? Fed decision is coming up this week, and earnings we have this week. Says Fed's Powell is about to defy Trump and hold rates steady. China exporters wash products in third countries to avoid Trump tariffs. So I guess, what does that mean? Are they sending things to another country and then from that country sending them to us? I don't know if that's what that means, but Warren Buffett, the long-term trend is up. Social Security, how financial advisors are calming clients' fears. McDonald's joins Starbucks and Chipotle in traffic drop. Yeah, I was saying the other day, they were talking about how McDonald's really took a big hit, that people aren't, rolling through for McDonald's anymore. And to be honest, McDonald's is no longer the low cost roll through McDonald's for a quick, cheap meal. That is not the spot. It's been a while now, but I remember going to McDonald's, and it's been a while, but what you would consider like a cheap meal was like $12. I was like, if I'm going to pay $12 for something, I'm not going to get it at McDonald's. I'm gonna go, you can get, if you're just trying to get a cheap meal, it's not at McDonald's anymore. Ward said, yep, he's being replaced by a 62-year-old. Okay. Janae says Warren Buffett announced his willingness to turn over the position by the end of the year. All right. Dara says he announced his retirement at year-end at the annual shareholders meeting. All right. Well, I hope everybody's okay with that. I just added, it's been a minute, Berkshire Hathaway into my dollar cost averaging thing. And don't be handing over the reins before y'all keep driving the price up. We'll just keep getting up. Like dollar cost averaging is fine. Don't even matter if you hand over the reins, because I believe that's still a good place to make good. And whoever he's that, they've had a nice little set and a plan on how they acquire things. things. So they'll continue to build, I guess. It says here Greg Abel faces tricky task leading Berkshire Hathaway after Buffett. Yeah, I'm sure. Trump says good parts of U.S. economy are Trump economy and the bad parts are Biden economy. Of course, you got to take the credit for the good parts and blame somebody else for the bad parts. Trump says he's willing to delay the TikTok ban again. All right, moving on. Okay, the end of an era. Trump rejects concerns about the prices. 8-year president, no third term, please. I'm not even gonna comment there. Okay, let's move from there. Dumpster fire. Retailers urge shoppers to buy now before tariffs raise prices. Has anybody else noticed? I'm sure I'm not alone. Everywhere you go now, the prices are already up higher. And when you ask people why the prices have jumped so much, their first answer is the tariffs. But the tariffs have not started hitting yet. Like the tariffs have not gotten to here to where people are feeling them. But that's like what people are automatically, business owners are already starting to say that there's tariffs, and that's why prices are up. Hope people don't start taking advantage of doing price gouging, because that needs to be the next on the list. The price gouging police need to show up and be like, I think you gouging for gas. Some of this tariffs. Let's look at our meeting stuff for coming up this week. Yes, inventory and stuff is starting to decline. I agree with that, because things are sitting on boats, and the what's it called? The supply chain is starting to suffer a bit. I do know that. Monday, May the 5th, we've got final services PMI, ISM services PMI, and loan officer survey. That's a red folder at 10 o'clock in the morning on Monday. Tuesday, we've got all yellow folders: trade balance, RCM tip, economic optimism, 10-year bond auction, which I don't know why they're still putting this as a yellow, because really it's at least an orange and maybe even a red. The 10-year bond auction does cause volatility, okay? Just in case you didn't know that. Tuesday at 1 o'clock, the 10-year bond auction does cause volatility. Wednesday, we've got FOMC stuff. Y'all already know they need to put 2 red folders on Wednesdays, because anytime the FOMC, like when they're going to give a statement, is definitely more than just 1 red folder, all right? But that's happening at 2 o'clock on Wednesday. Crude oil inventories is that morning. Keep that in mind. Consumer credit is that afternoon at 3. So Wednesday stands to be a volatile day. Thursday, before the market opens, we have unemployment claims, red folder, preliminary non-farm productivity, unit labor cost, 10 o'clock, wholesale inventories, 30-year bond auction, 1 o'clock on Thursday, which should also be at least an orange folder, maybe even red. And then Friday, we got FOMC member people talking all day long. They're probably at some kind of conference or something. Let me click in one of these folders. Due to deliver opening remarks at Fed Listens events at the Federal Reserve Bank of Chicago. So that may be why all these people are speaking. This is a different event. Due to participating in a panel discussion by John Taylor and Taylor Rules of Policy. Maybe they'll speak after they give that little statement. They're free to go talk in other places. So there's a bunch of people, though. I say bunch. It looks like a bunch because they're all in together. Where you have 3-4 people talking during the market hours. Kugler, Goolsby, Waller, and Williams will speak almost during market hours. Kugler's going to speak before the market opens, but it's in the window of market times. And just know that that's going to be on Friday. Friday's already be bananas enough, and we're going to add some FOMC members, peoples to it. And just know that that's always interesting, right? Always interesting. Let's look at the earnings for this week. Look at earnings that are coming up for this week. Yep. On May the 5th, we've got TG Therapeutics for this week. Thank you, Earnings Whispers, for always providing us this nice little graphic. TG Therapeutics. This is Berkshire Hathaway B. You got I think it's A, B, and C. This is B is having earnings on Monday morning before market opens. On probably semiconductors, ON, BioCryst, Recursion, Axum, Tyson, which I'm thinking is the food, Foot Locker, Fresh Pet, and BioNTech is also Monday morning before the market opens. Monday after market close, Palantir, which I'm sure is anticipated. Hims and Hers, which Hims has gotten a lot of attention here recently in the pharmaceutical space. They have earnings Monday morning. They have earnings Monday morning. Ford Realty Income, which is a REITs. A lot of people trade Realty Income. Vertex, EverQuote, they don't really trade it. I think people buy it more than they do trade it. Vertex, EverQuote, Williams, Coterra, Bellring, and Icor. I thought this was something here in the front. Icor. Tuesday morning before market opens, Celsius. Now, these Celsius drinks are all the thing because my students at the university, everybody got a Celsius. I think what happens is something gets popular, and then that's what they have in all the little shops around campus. So the students have that as their alternative. It's like a Coke or a Celsius. They don't have a lot of choices. So then they end up, everybody seems to be drinking, and they are pretty tasty though. I have had them and they do taste pretty good. Celsius is a drink. Sorry. Celsius having earnings Tuesday morning. Celsius is a drink, but they're having earnings Tuesday morning. Datadog is Tuesday morning. Porsche or Race. Constellation is also Tuesday mornings. Digital Ocean, FIS. I knew what that was. I forgot. Marriott, Priority, Array Technologies, and IPG. Tuesday after market closes, we got AMD, probably anticipated. Yes. Supermicro, SMCI is also Tuesday after market closes, anticipated. Tempest, Rivian. Those Rivian trucks look really nice. I've seen a few of them on the road. They look really nice. They're Tuesday after market closes. Energy Transfer, Upstart is also Tuesday. Arista, Astera Labs, Wynn, and Kinross, also Tuesday after close. Wednesday morning, we've got Uber, Walt Disney, Nova Nordisk, Unity, Vistra Energy, Teva, Barrick, Johnson Controls, Oscar, and Flex. All of those are Wednesday morning. Wednesday after the close, we've got AppLovin, Carvana is here, ARM, Axon Cliffs, what's that? Cleveland Cliffs, the steel people. IonQ, Oxy, AMC, still yet holding on. Dutch Brothers and Fortinet. That's Wednesday after close. Thursday morning, another one still holding on is Peloton. I thought Peloton was gone years ago, but they yet holding on. Shopify is Thursday morning. ConocoPhillips in the fuel space, energy space. D-Wave, Hut 8, which is a crypto mining, I believe. Warner Brothers Discovery, Kronos, Crocs, ACM, and Yeti. Them Yeti coolers, they real proud of their stuff. Ooh. Anyway, Thursday after close, the trade desk, TTD, Coinbase is there. Marathon is here having earnings. Mara. Mercado Libre is also Thursday after close. Cloudflare. SoundHound. Preferably they can get moving. Come on, SoundHound, you can get moving. DraftKings, Wolf Speed or Wolf has earnings. I was talking about Wolf on my call on Friday morning. I was talking about doing offensive cash secure puts, and Wolf was definitely in a bit of a squeeze at the end of the week, but I talked about that on Friday. CleanSpark is also Thursday after market closes. Affirm is Thursday after market close. And then Friday morning, TerraWolf or the Wolf WULF. This over here was the Wolf WOLF. First Dibs or Dibs Enbridge is also Friday before open. Algonquin, ANI Pharmaceuticals, Plains, Telos. I'm leaning so I can see it because it's behind my camera. Telos, TELOS, TXNM Energy, and PAR, PAR. This is the list of earnings that are here. It could be, I'm sure there's a whole lot more earnings that are going. These are the anticipated or the ones that Earnings Whispers puts on their list. You should always look at your stock, whatever you're going to trade. You're going to want to check usually on the chart, you can see whether earnings are coming up or dividends are coming up or whatever's coming up for that stock. You should be able to see it on that options chain. You kind of want to have an idea about that, especially if you're operating as a seller. We want to know because of the volatility, and if you're selling like covered calls and the price is going to run up and your shares might get called away. If you want them to be called away, that's fine. But if you don't, you kind of want to know whether they're having earnings or dividends or whatever. So that way you're prepared for that. Okay. Okay. Hey, Denise, how you doing? All righty. So Let's go talk about last week. Now, we had a very short list last week. It was very short. And at this point, it was in itself, it was not as profitable as we would have wanted it to be, not at the end of the week. Now, interestingly enough, we traded this list as a community. Well, not all of it. We traded Home Depot profitably. We traded IBM profitably. We got out early. We didn't wait till Friday. We traded IWM and we got out early profitably. And that's the only three we traded off of this list. We also traded some other stuff that wasn't on this list. But if you held this list all the way to expiration, which if you're an active trader, you probably did not hold to expiration. But two of these trades were profitable if you just held all week. And three of them were breached, and then one of them was partial. IWM, the price expired at like 200.50 or 200.48, $200.48, something like that. So it was only partially breached, but that was our list from last week. So we're going to give ourselves one snap. We can't get all excited and do a bunch of clapping, but we knew we had one side of our list last week, and, and a small list. One-sided also always can, kind of leave you to be where it be. All right, we're gonna be excited. We traded off the list and we did well, but again, we're active traders, so we were able to close stuff when it came time to close it. Now, this is the list for this week, which has a whole lot more meat on it. Got almost too much meat. I try to keep this list small, and I saw some things I really could have taken off this list, but I went ahead and left them on the list for the week. We've got AbbVie, Gold, JP Morgan, Microsoft, Triple Q, and Walmart on the put credit spread side, which means they're bullish. They're in a bullish trend according to our look at our chart. And then for the call credit spreads, we've got Adobe, Caterpillar, Goog, and Google. They ended up with the same strikes. Usually that doesn't happen. Generally, they're a little bit off, but I put them both on here because some people trade one and not the other. They were listed separately on my watch list, so I included them separately, but you could trade them both or neither, up to you. IWM lows, you see Microsoft and Triple Q here again, and SPY. So why are Triple Q and Microsoft listed twice? I'm glad you asked. I'm so glad you asked. It is because Microsoft and Triple Q, believe it or not, are showing up as a neutral trend. They're showing up in the neutral area. Maybe they're changing the trend from what was bearish to bullish, and they're falling into neutral, right? Because Microsoft was bearish for a lot of weeks, but last week, well, the week before last, Microsoft picked up and started running, and then this week it definitely moved some more as well. So it must be changing trend from bearish to bullish, and we're in the middle of that. So it's on both lists. Now, how can we trade it if it's on both lists? You can decide based on what you see from day to day. If you're trading it short term, which is like a day or a couple days, you can trade based on what you see, or you can trade it for the week and say, well, I think it's going to do this for the week, or you can maybe look Iron Condor. Really up to you. I don't give investment advice because I'm not an investment advisor. I'm just saying you could decide based on the time frame you're looking at which way you want to go with it, and you could maybe make money on both sides if you like, but it falls, or if they both are in the neutral trend territory. All right, so there's our list. We will go through this list on our call tonight, on the membership call. We'll go through this list, and other things, because we don't only do this list when we're in our charting call. We look at whatever things that the members want to look at. We look and see, what's coming up. What can we how can we get ourselves positioned for next week and get ourselves ready to trade for some profits? Because that's really what we're after, is we're trying to pull money out the market because we don't have to pull it out the mud, right? If you didn't get this last week, you need to go ahead and grab you a copy of the 3 things to trade, 3 things to check before you trade. You can go to e2t-freebies.com. It should be at the top. That page has been revamped a little bit. 3 things to check before you trade. You want to look at these things before you enter into any trade. It's a free resource. You can go over there and get you a free downloadable copy and take a look at these things and check out whatever else is on the freebies page that might interest you. There's all kind of good stuff over there, right? All right, chart your way to 100K. Charting technical analysis training is also over in there. But before I go there, I have one more thing I wanted to share with y'all. Let me bring it to the screen because I got something I wanted to clap and share about, and all this good stuff. I was talking earlier about making sure that you don't just keep track of your weekly profits, but you keep track of your monthly profits. We don't want to just keep track of, you do want to do cumulative profit, because sometimes when you look at short-term things, you can potentially get yourself discouraged because you're like, I took a loss. Took a loss 2 days in week 5. I had 2 losses in the 1 week. And you start looking like, what is this? What are we doing? But then when I went and looked back at the month of April, like, oh, snap. The month of April was yes. Yes, this is how the month of April went. Now we can snap up. We can snap, and say, yes, thank you, SPX, for our 0 DTE monies. Yes, we can snap it up and say, yes, girlfriend, yes. And you know what? Even more than these numbers for me is the fact that the people in my community are also experiencing wins. We're also experiencing profits, and they're also experiencing a feeling of hope and feeling of being able to identify places where they can generate profits as well. It's not just about me, because if I go, and I nobody and don't take anybody with me, I've just gone on a walk. But if I can take people with me, which is my whole objective, is to take folks with me, then it's even better, right? I'm so much more satisfied about the fact that I can take folk with me. It ain't just about me; it's about us. I want to take us with me. I want to take us on something. I was talking to them the other day, yesterday, I think it was, because I feel like it's been a lot, but yesterday, about there are barriers to us stepping into the wealth that has been set aside for us. Many of us, you're the first person in your family who is stepping into this space. You may be the first person who was even talking about or looking at a stock market. You may be one of the first people who own a business or trying to generate wealth, or you could be something. And when you're out front, you're going to take hits. Anytime you're the person who's out front, you're going to take some bumps and bruises. But I definitely want to encourage anybody who's listening to continue to stay with it, because we can get discouraged. All right. This is a rough road. Trading in the stock market can be hard on the systems. It's hard on the emotions. It's hard on your nervous system. It can be hard on your pocketbook. All right. Because we're dealing with strongholds. You're dealing with money mentality. You're dealing with how do you view money. You're dealing with all these things. And when you're the one who's tearing these things down for your family, you may be tearing them down for your region, because some of these strongholds are not just in your family. They may be in your locale. Some of these strongholds may be in your geographic area. All right. They may not just be in your family. They may be in your geographic area. And when you start bumping up against the enemy's camp, they're not going to just let you walk in and come take territory. You're going to have to fight. There's a scripture that says the kingdom of God suffers violence, and the violent take it by force. This going to have to be taken by force, right? You're not going to walk and traipse into the tulips like poop, poop, poop. I'm just walking in like dom is going with him and snatch up some bags. No, sir. You better know, and you better believe there are principalities that are opposing you grabbing that bag. Okay? And some of the principalities might be right at your house, right? Because we don't fight with flesh and blood. We don't fight with flesh and blood. We fight with principalities. I wasn't trying to preach no message. I'm just saying that money is a spiritual thing. Wealth is a spiritual thing. I haven't stepped into it. It's not like I'm over there and talking to you back from the other side, talking about, hey, come over here. That's not what's happening here. Okay. That's not what's happening. What I'm saying is I'm having to walk it out too. And as we walk it out, I want you to know that as you walk as the leader, you're going to run and you're going to run into stuff and you're going to get bumps and bruises. If you can picture yourself walking in some woods where there is no path that's been created, if you're walking and there's no path created yet, and you're creating the path, then you're gonna get some stuff's gonna scratch you up. Your arms gonna get scratched, your legs gonna get scratched. You're gonna have to create a path. And for many of us, we are creating the path. There is no path for us. There was no path laid down for us, not in some of these spaces. In some spaces there were, but in some of these spaces, there was no path laid down. We're creating the space. Okay? We're creating the path. I hear you, Will, because I do too. We're creating the path. And anytime you're bumping up against the enemy's camp and you're bumping up against principalities that don't want you to be in a place, they're not going to just lay down. You will have to go in there and bind and loose and cast out and do all this stuff people think is all weird and spooky. You can call it what you want to call it, but just know you're going to have to take this by force. Right? I won't even tell you how many nights I've lost sleep. I can't even start to quantify how many dollars I've put into the market learning what we're learning. So I can be able to pass the knowledge on to not just my children, but to every children who listens to me. And I don't know how many people listen, to be totally true. I don't know, honestly, right? I don't know, but there are people who listen, who hear, however. Anyway, that ain't important. But I'm saying, we're creating a space for those around us, those who are coming behind us. This is not a path that was created for me. My parents did not talk about no stock market, didn't know nothing about no stock market. Okay. And okay, but this is the path that we're on. And there are people who may be around you who may look like they're never supporting you, but I promise you they're watching. I got aunties and cousins and stuff who may or may not make a like to the post, may never say nothing. But then when we get in spaces together, a little comment will pop out. And nobody's ever, mean or nobody's like, you got your little business. Nobody does that in my family. If they do, they don't do it where I can hear. But I'm saying that people are watching. They're watching you too. And maybe some people are disparagingly making comments. And if they do, let them. Okay, because we're still trying to create a space. My intentions are pure, and hopefully you have good pure intentions too, so that as you got good intentions, you're trying to create a space for yourself and those who are around you, those who are coming after you. We're trying to create spaces, and you most likely, if you listen to me, and you're probably the person, as Janae said there, we are creating our path. There is no path, there ain't no box there. You're making the box. You building the table, right? You knocking down the weeds to create your space. All right. That's what's happening here. That's what's happening here. You are creating, you're making way, you're making room, making space. And you're using your resources to try to do that. You're putting your brain to work so that way you can create space for you, your family, and those who are coming after you. All right. That's really what's happening here. So just know, but my overall objective to all of that is just to know that I don't want you to get discouraged. I really wanted to say that to encourage you, that sometimes when you're taking hits, you can get frustrated, like, forget this. I can throw in my towel and go over here and buy some dividend stock and quit. Or this for the birds. Okay. Don't do that. Just keep riding it out. Keep learning. Don't give up. Right. The people who walk out front are the first ones who get hit. The people who walk out front are the first ones to get hit. That's all right. You take a licking and keep on ticking. Keep pushing, keep moving forward. Don't give up and don't quit. You're going to be all right. This money is currency. The more it goes out, the more it comes in. If it goes out, it comes in. Notice anybody who's lost money in the market, did you go hungry the next day? No. Some more money came back. Whether that came back through you working, whether that came back through whatever the way it came back, the money came back. I don't think anybody's on here listening to me that they went hungry. I don't think that happened. Right? So just keep working at it. If you lose money, we'll make more. They print, as they say, they print money every day. If you lose money, we'll make more. Not that I want you to not honor the money that you're given, because we want to be good stewards of the resources that we're given. But part of the way that we're being good stewards, I'm going to go down this path too. Part of the way that we're being good stewards with those resources is we try to duplicate and multiply them. We do not want to take our little money and put it in a hole. And when the Lord comes back, like, did you do anything with my money? You're like, I put it in there. I buried it over there in the bank where they gave me 0.0004% interest on it. Don't do that. Because them banks is taking your money and they triplicating. They in the stock market. Why aren't you? Okay? With your money. Don't just hide your money in a savings account and be off doing something else with it. Take some of it at least and try to learn how to make multiple double digits returns on it. At least some of it, okay? All right. Don't be, after it's all over, you come back and the Lord says, what'd you do with my money? And you're like, I sat on it because I was worried I was worried I was gonna lose it. So I didn't do nothing with it. And you're gonna be like, what? You didn't even try? You didn't even try to make no more money off it? At least if you had tried and lost it, we could say at least you tried. If you didn't even try and you lost it, we're gonna be like, how, you didn't even try? Come on now. Come on now. There was people out here who was giving away the knowledge and you ain't even try to get none of it. You ain't try to read a book at the library for free. You ain't try to watch some free YouTube videos. I'm telling you. I'm going to move on. Francis said lost 30 on the market, gained 130 from job the same day. Yeah. Yeah, that's the way it goes. It continues. You got to at least try. I mean, really, at least try. At least, but they say nothing beats a failure but a try. At least if you... at least try, Ain't nobody gonna be mad at you if you try. I tried to make money and I lost it. And I'm gonna keep trying. No, you be wise. Be wise. Don't be reckless with it, but be wise and keep and learn. If it don't go right, pull back, get a better plan, and try. Tiffany said, I don't have a better plan, so why not trade? A lot of people, just like you, Tiffany, they ain't got a better plan. You don't have a better plan. A lot of people don't have a better plan. They why not learn how to trade? And while you learning to trade, put $5 or $10 into some stock that you can buy a little bit of every few days or every week or whatever, while you learning, while you getting your account up. All right. And if you lose it, okay, then we lost it and we learned some stuff along the way and we keep on pushing. We keep on pushing. If you're not sure what to do, hook up with somebody, a coach you can trust. There are some coaches out here that are just going to grab your coins and they can't necessarily be trusted. But to use your discernment, don't just use how much money they made as your reason when to follow them. Don't just use that. Okay, don't just use that. I agree. You want to follow somebody who at least look like they know where they're going, but don't just use that, right? Because people can show what they want to show you. People can put anything they want to put on a social media post. They don't tell you what they did. You want to find somebody who you believe has integrity, right? I'm telling you, I'll post out when we win, when we lose. I put it out there because I said early on, I was going to be as transparent as I could be. And sometimes that's not as easy as others. It's not easy to post the negatives because you want to protect yourself. Okay, that's just human nature. You don't want to post the negatives. You want to protect yourself. But we do know that losses comes with this territory. So if anybody tell you they win all the time, they lying to you, and you shouldn't follow them either, because they don't. Okay, nobody wins all the time. That's not even realistic. That's not. And if all the trades they took, they won, there probably is a whole bunch of other trades they didn't show you that they took, and they lost those. And they lost those. All right. Find somebody you can follow that you can trust, that fits your budget. But you want to find somebody who can help you get to where you want to go in a shorter period of time. You don't have to figure everything out. We don't have the time now to go figuring and rooting around and figuring everything out. Get with somebody who can help you get a faster path at a reasonable cost. I can't determine what's reasonable, because some folks figure that my $97 isn't reasonable, even though you can make the $97 that I charge for the month, you can make that back in literally one trade. One trade that I'll give you on one day, you can make that money back in one trade. But people like that $97 a month, that's too much. Okay, well, go over and pay so-and-so $5,000 and hope to see them on a call with you, period. I won't even jump on that boat because I've done that and never saw the person on a call. Never was on a Zoom call that I could talk to that person. Not once. Not once. My folks can see we on Zoom at least 3 days a week. At least 3. Yeah. Moving on. All righty. I want the spirit to lift because I jump off on a soapbox. Find somebody, get you a coach, get somebody you can follow that you can trust that has integrity and move forward. There are a lot of people who can't be trusted, but there are a lot of people out here who really do have the right heart for people and really want to make sure that people are learning. All right. So there was that. I did share with you my month. Yeah, that it happened. So my account can only do covered calls. Can we help with that? Yep, we can help with that. I can help talk you through it potentially. What broker do you use, Francis? You have to tell me what broker that you use. I want to remove this and I want to put this back on. Come on, share again. Okay, I'm trying to put us back onto the screen we need to be on. Shoot, come on, shoot. There we go. Chart your way to 100K. Again, we need to be knowing how to chart. You need to know how to read the charts and what's going on in the market. This is not the market to be guessing, all right? There's a lot of volatility that happened even last week. You need to know how to read the chart. Don't play with it, all right? In my community, I coach weekly credit spreads, daily SPX spreads, cash secure puts, and covered calls. These are the things that we do in our community. This is what I coach. This is what we trade. This is what we manage together and trade together. So if you're interested in all that, then we're over there. Membership is not necessarily open unless you've got some. I really would like for you to have a little bit of prior knowledge if you're going to come join us at this point. But if you do have some prior knowledge and you want to join us, you can come on and link up with us if you'd like. I didn't know if that don't need to have. Oh, no, it's fine. Okay, this is where we are. SPX playbook strategy that we use at the end of every day in the power hour, because power hour, you need some help as you're working with power hour because it's volatile. If you just need some guidance, some one-on-one coaching, you can head over to my website, educatortotrader.com, and you can sign up for one-on-one coaching. All right. That way we can get together and talk about exactly what you need to talk about and get you lined out specifically in that way. All right. One-on-one coaching is available over there. All righty. I think, okay. All the trainings are over there as well. And the last thing I was asking, if you would join me come over to LinkedIn and follow me over there. Some of y'all are already on LinkedIn. Follow Educator to Trader over on LinkedIn if you don't mind. To Trader, I'd appreciate it. Over there, you have Charles Schwab. Yeah, we can go through I can walk through the questions with you, and we can potentially do it that way. Maybe send me a message, and we'll see what we can do. Okay. Yeah. All righty. I think that's about all. I really want you to know that this is just first of all, we're in interesting times, and this is an interesting space. All right. So you want to continue educating yourself, continue learning, continue pressing forward, even when it seems like there is a lot of opposition. And you know why it seems like that? Because there is. Okay. It feels like there's a lot of opposition because there is. But that doesn't mean you should give up just because there's resistance, right? Notice how when those prices go up, they might bump some resistance a couple times. It doesn't mean they don't go back and try again. And sooner or later, they go on through the resistance. Same thing with you. Don't give up. Don't stop pushing against the resistance. and continue to move on up and continue to educate yourself, because there is something that happens in the, I believe it's in the 3 to 4 year mark, where um all the things that have started to be that are put into your brain start to gel together, and you start, oh, this makes sense now. Oh, this makes sense now. Sometimes it happens sooner, sometimes it takes a little longer. Everybody's different. But around the 3 to 4 year mark, things start to really gel. And if you can last, you just gotta hold on. Use wisdom, like I said, but you need to hold on and keep learning along the way. And just know that what you're looking for, you can find it in the market. Of course, what I love about the market is everybody can generate resources at the level they want to generate resources. You got people who will pull in $10, $20, $50. You got people who will pull in 1,000, 10,000, 50,000. It really is going to come down to what is it you want to get out of the market and what you put into it. All right. Will says, this is my 4th year. Would you agree with my statement, Will? Denise, continue to educate yourself. I definitely would encourage you, if you're not working with a mentor or somebody, to go ahead and get linked up with the community. Of course, I will invite you to mine, but definitely get linked up so that way you can continue to grow, because sometimes we don't know what we don't know. And there's some things that I have learned and I've gotten to a place, and then I get to a place where my knowledge has tapped out, and then I go looking for the next set of knowledge, but then there's this vast amount of information and I just can't go in. I don't want to go and just grab it all like this. I need somebody who knows, who understands what I already have learned and can now point me directly to something, right? I don't need to go looking wide. I need to stay, kind of streamlined. This is where a mentor comes in. A mentor can say, okay, I got your background. I see where you are. So this is the next thing for you to learn. And this is how and where you go learn it, right? Sometimes a mentor helps you with that area. Yeah. Okay. Those are my encouraging words. I'm on here a lot longer than I usually am on a Sunday, but I felt like that needed to be shared in this season. All right. Okay, you all, if you're in my community, I will see you in about 5 minutes, 6 minutes, Dougie Fresh. If you're not, I'll see you tomorrow morning at 8:45. We're always on YouTube, 8:45 on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, talking about what the day has to offer us. All righty. I want you to do too. I want you to get this money.